for real estate, it's always good to know credit because people trust you to know a little bit of everything, although that's not what we should mainly focus on. Credit is very key and critical to know when you are the first point of contact, and it's good to know a little bit about it. And with that being said, I'm going to talk to you guys about what affects your credit score. So we're going to start with 35% of your payment history. So when I say 35%, it's 35% of your FICO score is based on payment history. Your ability to repay a debt is very key and critical when it comes to purchasing a home. So your payment history, if you've had a couple of lates in the past or recent lates within a year, if you've had recent lates within a year, it's going to be hard to get your mortgage loan. However, we've been known to get it done with a good letter of explanation, but you do not want to fall behind on your credit. So you want to make sure your clients are paid on time. And if they're actively in a 30-day or a 60-day late, it'd be wise for them to pay that up to date, and we'd have to make a good letter explanation as to why they fell behind. So 35% of your FICO score is based on your payment history. Then there's 30% is based on the amount you owe. So what that means is if you have a bunch of credit cards, but you have them all mostly charged up, that's going to reduce your FICO score. So you want to make sure that for every $1,000 or for every whatever the limit is, 33% of it should only be utilized. As an example, if it's $1,000, do not exceed $330 in balance to your limit, because the higher you go on your balance to your limit, the more it affects your FICO score. Okay, the way the FICO for Isaac Company sees it is that you are at a high bankruptcy rate risk, and that is the reason why you're charging up your cards. It's crazy, but it's known to affect you that way. So 30% is based on the amounts you owe. So make sure that your clients have their balances low. Sometimes you just need them to pay them down and do a rapid rescore, which is done in 3 to 5 days with their credit company, and it'll bring up their score. 15% is your length of credit history. So how long you've had credit open for, the longer the better. So if there was ever a client that maybe has a late or is on an authorized user on a card, it'd be wise, even if their balance is a little high to limit, it'd be wise to have them pay down that authorized user instead of removing that authorized user, because that authorized user might have a 10-year, 5-year history, and by removing the history, you're affecting your FICO score. So there's different ways of approaching the credit, and those are things I can help you guys with if you send me an email or just a phone call. But 15% of your length of credit history affects your FICO score. So just make sure that clients who do not have FICOs or credit, it's because they don't have FICO, that whatever authorized user they go on, it be one that's open for a while now. Okay, so if you ever want to reestablish credit for someone, make sure that the length of credit history is more than 2 years, because that's what we would be looking for. 10% of what affects your FICO score is your credit mix. What does that mean? Installment accounts, revolving accounts, mortgage accounts. So that's 10% of your FICO score. So it's not really that much of a big deal, but it affects your score at 10%. So if you have an installment debt, which you guys all know is a car or a mortgage where you have the term, let's say 60 months is a 5-year term, or if you have revolving accounts, which you credit cards or department store credit cards that you charge and you pay down, and you charge and you pay down. You just want to make sure that they don't close those accounts. And then 10% of your FICO is based on your credit. Guys, if your client doesn't have credit history, what we do is we do one of two things. We either ask them to please go open a secured credit card with Wells Fargo, Bank of America. There's different banks out there that allow to do secured credit card. Simply have the client walk in with $300, and their credit card would be based on the $300 they deposited. But that is only going to show them recent activity, meaning if 30 days go by, you're only going to have a 30-day history in your credit. The best thing to do is get them on an authorized user. Have a friend or a client of theirs put them on an authorized user account. Make sure that the authorized users have more than 2 years credit history and that the balances are low compared to the limit. You don't want to make the mistake of putting them on an authorized user where the balance to the limit is high, the term is under 2 years, and they're behind actively. It doesn't make sense. So whatever you do in reestablishing credit, let it make sense. With that being said, you guys, I just wanted to share this with you guys. I hope you guys are staying safe and blessed. And, if you have any questions, you can email me at rhomeloans@aol.com. That's rhomeloans@aol.com. You guys be safe and be blessed. We'll talk soon. Take care.